Hi there. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Ivor Jacobs, and this is a quite a long set of ditties that, by all means, go whenever you want. Mind you, I won't know, but it goes on for quite a while. Maybe you want to go right to the end and see what this is all about, which is giving some funds to Pancreatic Cancer UK. This whole thing started because every year, sometimes twice a year, our friends meet up. We're friends at school, and we've been really together since we were 11. And we meet up and have a good old chinwag. And one of our lot had complained that he was in a lot of pain because he is undergoing chemo for for prostate cancer. And the conversation went round to illnesses, and people were saying, well, we get up in the night and we have to go to the loo quite a few times and so on. And one of our lot said, actually, I'm going to the hospital next week for a check because I've got something down there. So we all got together and everybody swore, the dozen of us or so that were there, swore that we would get our prostate checked within the 2 weeks. That was before Christmas, and this was 2017. And we said we had to do it and report back that is what was going to happen. So I tried to get an appointment with my doctor. Thanks to the NHS, they've saved my life, really, because they said the earliest that I could go for an appointment was in February that year. So I thought, that's no good. What am I going to do? Luckily, I get loads of emails through, and I got an email through all of a sudden, coincidentally, from Bupa, who offered cheap tests because it was before Christmas, and if I could go, if somebody could go when they said, rather than to make an appointment to suit you, you get it much cheaper. So that's what I did. And what I did to while away the time, because I was going up and down on the tube for tests and for chemo and so on, and also to make me feel a little bit better, I wrote down silly ditties as I went along, and these are some of them. There's a load more, but I've chosen the ones that aren't really too ridiculous. Actually, most of them don't rhyme anyway, but here goes. For an appointment with my doc, I would have to wait. The earliest they offered me was a February date, but we promised our mates to get medical confirmation that in us were no nasties in the process of formation. Doing nothing for weeks, they were bound to berate. It's an age thing to have a problem prostate. So I went for a Bupa medical offer. That set my fate. They suggested that I have further investigations, so had scans, hoping for no nasty aberrations. My prostate absolutely fine, but pancreas not great. They found it from the thorough ultrasound on my prostate and the area around. So lucky for me, as they don't usually scan, the pancreatic organ, especially for a man. To the operator's thoroughness, I am quite bound. Many pancreatic masses, I have been told, are found looking out for disease that might have got hold somewhere else in your body. It may seem to you potty, but time on my side was just like striking gold. Having had several tests of one kind or another, I've only told my spouse and my brother, but if I've got to have an op, I will then drop it to family, then run for cover. I went back to the surgeon with my lovely wife, only to find that I would have to go under the knife. They're not quite sure what is lurking in there, but probably cancer, so I have to beware, although he did not think it would cost me my life. Well, this started in December 2017, and we're now in January, February time 2018. A probe down my throat is now in store. I'm trying to keep my thoughts away from the blood and the gore. If that and a radioactive scan prove that there are growths to quickly remove, I'll just have to get used to it for some time more. The test is called an endoscopy, where down your guts they push something floppy. It's got a light, camera, and knife at the end to navigate, take out cells that they send to do a biopsy. Let's hope it's not too grotty. Surgeon thought he would have to perform an op called a Whipple, but it could well be that he finds it's a pickle. I may have to have my whole pancreas removed, if indeed it is scientifically proved that the cancer has grown more than a little. The Whipple op plumbs your whole digestive area. Can't think of anything that could be scarier than sewing pancreas to stomach just like a hammock. Hope I won't suffer a bout of hysteria. Today, the scan department is strangely named nuclear. I'll be radioactive. Hope there is not much to fear. Will I be zapped by a robot mechanism whilst taking internal pictures through a prism that should highlight the cancer? Oh, what a scare. 22nd of February. I filled out the hospital form for admission. To have the op this Saturday is my ambition, as I'll have a very long Sabbath rest. Sorry to wife and family for being a pest. Having it quickly must be the right decision. Got a call on Friday afternoon. We're operating tomorrow, provided a boon, as even just a week or two later the cancer would have grown much greater, and it could well have been my high noon. Saturday op day, 25th of February 2018. Back to the hospital where they are going to cut bits of my internal parts reckoned to be maybe a foot, and then sew everything together, trying not to sever veins and vessels that are near to my gut. After 3 or 4 hours under the surgeon's expert knife, I was moved to intensive care, where my wife told me they had cut much cancer out. Of that there was not very much doubt. Now tubes in me are causing considerable strife. Half my pancreas was indeed removed, together with other stuff, as it was proved that some cancer was also found in my bowel. Out it came, as it was probably quite foul, and what remains is now nicely smooth. In intensive care you go into a daze, try to sing a song, but they thought I was crazed. The nurses checked me every quarter of an hour, but I could not summon up that much power to inform them that being alive I was amazed. Constipation is the patient's master. Not being able to go is a disaster. You may be able to sit on the white toilet seat. Excreting would be such a great treat, but they won't even give me oil of castor. They've given me things called depositories. Of the awfulness of them I have many stories. How they try to push them right up your bum in the hope that they will get some to hit the spot, so you have to use the lavatories. Friday, my catheter and feed tube were extracted. A day of pain followed, which impacted on my whole demeanour, even though I was keener to carry on as I would normally have acted. That's stupid anyway. I just had to sing of this day's pain, of the catheter down my willy. I just could not refrain from relating my feelings while staring at the ceilings as they pulled out the tubes in which urine once drained. So I'm going to sing this little song, if you call it that, but You may find it, in fact, you probably will find it obnoxious, so skip to right for the end if you want to. I had a catheter down my willy, a catheter down my willy. It hurt so much when they pulled it out. It took my wee to a plastic bag. Oh, what a horrible drag to have a catheter down your willy, la la la. There's much more to it, but my wife has absolutely forbidden me to sing the rest of it because it really is obnoxious. Anyway, we're now at the 5th of March. The last 3 days have been pretty dire. No sleep, much pain, but with the desire to have a cup of coffee I could really taste and not have to let my food go to waste. The fabulous nurses I greatly admire. Sam and Dan visited me yesterday. I found it hard to say much as I was feeling ill and quite grey. Dan said, I look sad. Not like his old dad, but I just could not wish the blues away. To keep my spirits up, I invited staff to bring me a short song that they must sing. One wonderful cleaner who was in her church choir sang me a gospel tune incredibly higher than anything I have ever heard, with great zing. A lovely physiotherapist got me out of bed, walked me round the corridor and up and down steps. She said I should walk ever so often to help delay the time I end up in a coffin, as well as reducing many side effects. After breakfast, the pharmacist visited to tell me about the pills that she listed. I'm given enzymes that emulate the missing pancreas, with side effects that make one quite gaseous, and other ones that infections have not resisted. My last, I hope, hospital night now starts. Pills, Hans Zimmer on my pad, accompanied by farts. Surgeon says I'm doing well, so can get discharged. All following on from a prostate that was not enlarged. Instead, a different cancer removed with other parts. I got home on 5th of March, the start of the week. As far as they could tell, I now don't have anything bleak. Provided I don't go running or swimming. Actually, I'm only really kidding, as they tell me I will feel somewhat weak. A few days I've been taking it easy at home, spending much time with friends on the phone. Have also had lots of nice visits that while away many hours and minutes, although it is sometimes good to just be alone. So many people have been ever so thoughtful, with most thinking I've had something awful, but it's just a nasty illness to bear, and really, to be quite fair, I've had meningitis, slip disc and car crash, so just mortal. Had a call today from the oncologist's administrator to fix up an appointment to see him later, towards the end of this month, so I'll have to confront much time on the drugs that for me they will cater. On Tuesday I returned to my work. Less than a month on from my op made me smirk, as making it back relatively soon felt to me like a positive boon, and being there with the team was quite a perk. 20th. On my way for the surgeon's check-up. Hope it's not something for which I'll need more luck. All being well, he's cut out the disease, though I know there will be no release from the chemo that I really can't duck. As it turns out, there was more cancer there than was hoped, but the surgeon removed it all at a stroke. However, a couple of lymph nodes were indeed carriers, so there's a possibility that there were not cancer barriers, meaning the disease could still indeed make me croak. He said if I'd waited just a week or two more, I would have been dead on somebody's floor, as the cancer would have spread too far, so I would have gone the same way as my ma, and no one would have to be disturbed by my snore. My mother had pancreatic cancer and died of it, and so did my cousin several years ago. Actually, he also said it had started maybe a year ago. Not a sign to make me feel at all low. Only 7% of people with pancreatic cancer get an early enough diagnosis so they find an answer by cutting it all out in one go. People ask me all about what's to come, my chemotherapy. I just have no idea if it's injected or taken orally. Don't know if it's a month or even a year. But I'll trust my oncologist, who has quite a flair for serving up just the right recipe. I hear that with cancer treatment you suffer hair loss. Not that that's a drag or might make me cross, but anyway, I'm going to have a haircut, so what's left I can strut until what may just look like moss. One thing I miss is going for swims, as that exercises all of my limbs. But because I have been cut down the middle, and my insides might thus be quite brittle, I can't even go in with water wings. Following my consultation with Dr. Floss, I listened to him as the undoubted boss. He has given me 2 lots of toxic chemicals with side effects that could even affect my genitals, but I'll get on with it, trying not to care a toss. Well, I eventually saw my chemo consultant, who said that the scan and blood tests were resultant in steaming ahead with the chemical treatment that he promised would be ever so convenient. I could even go on holes and make someone pregnant. Mine is longer than yours. No, it's not. Mine is, of course. So Anton and I measured our scars, and mine was longer by far, as the heart transplant recipient had to endorse. 3rd of April. Today my wife and I went for a pre-chemo chat with a nice nurse who said I must keep fat, as if my weight goes down too much, my chemo dosage will get out of touch, making it harder for the cancer medicine to combat. An alternative treatment is available in Japan. They say it comes with a geisha fan. It's called chemonotherapy, and they hope it will remedy. Whilst there, you might also get a very nice tan. For myself, the last week has been mixed. I've been feeling invaded, but that's because I'm betwixt 2 types of laboratory-made concoctions that are full of the nastiest of toxins I've been told necessary if I'm to be fixed. Last week, I got high on a shot called steroid that nurses gave me as they wanted me to avoid the effects of the in-vein chemo cancer fighter that actually made me quite hyper. Next week, sleeping pills, or I might think I'm Pink Floyd. Now the 2nd chemo week. 2 painful blotches appeared on my calf. Could it be the chemo that's affecting me? Not half. Phoned the doctor, who said if it spreads, or if it gets a strange colour of red, I should phone again. Oh, what a laugh. Now on to the last of my injected first cycle. Paula's come with me to Guy's, as it's Nat, for father and daughter to have this time to chat. Not about operations or cancer, but much more interesting banter that mentions neither rabbis nor cats. Cellulitis appears to be the infection on my skin. I really don't know where my foot might have been. But with low resistance from my treatment, my cells are taking too much treatment. The massive antibiotics had better kick in. Now, this is a little tune to, with apologies to Flanders and Swan, because of all this infection in my blood and things going round that I thought of this. Good that today they have checked my blood. It is indeed cooling the infected mud. So let's hope that heart pills will follow down my throat hollow, and no need to wallow in the medicinal flood. A very hot Friday and I'm out after 6 days of antibiotical clout that almost rid me of the cellulitis that, in spite of me feeling at my very brightest, has to be vanquished. Of that there's no doubt. Now home I have to take many more drugs, including one with a needle that sucks. I have to stick it into my fat belly. Luckily it's wobbly like jelly to thin my blood and help get rid of the bugs. Back again to guys, not sure if I'll get more chemo as they will vet my leg for signs of infection that will point them in a direction. Hope the news won't make me fret. While some progress is still being made, my chemo will have to be delayed, as the cellulitis must fully heal, or else I might feel a mangy foot, if I'm alive, for maybe a decade. My chemo today has to be pushed back a week, but at least I don't feel very weak. Happy if no more infections or toothache that will make my chemo take another break. So pile it on and hope I don't shriek. My special stockings came in the post. Trying to put them on almost made me give up the ghost, with the suggested rubber gloves and giving almighty shoves. I've got them on now, so I can boast. However, getting them off is much more of a chore. I've tried sitting and lying on the floor. In the end, help came from my wife, who almost dedicated her life, as pulling them made her fall back on the floor. A barbecue at Dan's bank holiday weekend was great, even though it might have sent nasty things that remained in my gut to give me diarrhea that made me feel rough, but emergency pills assured a quick mend. Just at the end of my second chemo cycle, feeling horrid, but that's the result of the spiral that has the chemicals building up, designed to mop up what cancer cells might be lurking and idle. Well, that's where I stop for now, and I'm going to continue on the next video if you want to watch that straight away. See you soon. Bye.